that a door? I can see something through it. Can I go through? There's your extra dimensional nonsense. Okay. Oh, that's useful. That's probably very useful. Which reality does the sign point east? Not in this one, please. I don't want to stay here. Is that my reminder, though? Right, wood. Seriously? So, alright, we've got away through the forest. Let's forest. Looks woodsy. What we got here? You know, this pile's been rotting here for years. I don't feel like that kind of totally matched up with everything, but whatever. This cavalry must be a source of comfort to pilgrims a few centuries ago. Freeze. He was another one of my favorites. We're just passing by everything that we know about? This is the last landmark. We never ventured further than that. Well, time to venture. We ghost now. Okay. Oh, I was only expecting a chapel. What's such a big church doing here? We got notes. The statues and valuables must have been stolen. The building that is so neglected for so long. Looks to be in decent shape. I believe Anton is at it again. I am dismayed that anyone would attempt to bring forth such darkness, especially given what we know of Blackwood Manor. He'll give that infernal family a run for their money if his vile efforts are successful. It is unthinkable that his goal could be ensorcelment of that seven-eyed Lord of the Nether itself. To my mind, he will become the very things he hopes to control. To what end does he endeavor? Is it to empower himself with fiendish forces beyond the comprehension of man? Or to secure his place as the Godhead? I can only imagine what is to come if he acquires many followers. I rue the day when I learned of his infernal activities, as I may yet see the worst of it, I fear. You received this letter in time. Do your best to avoid Anton. Is it not enough that we must suffer the deviltry of Blackwood, that now one of our own is taken up such diabolic pursuits? Oh, that's right, Anton was the priest. 'Tis a sulphurous prospect, to be sure. Watch yourself, or you too may become embroiled in this indulgence of unhallowed possession. Oh, okay. Booze for later, I guess. Oh, more bubbles. Here lies William Jeremiah Cecil Whitegate, 1528 to 1565. May his soul rest forever in this place, keeping the infernal fires from reaching impure soul. I'm guessing those dates are important? Somebody's living here, I'm sure of it. It would be strange for the area around the manor to be abandoned, too. There's only one candlestick on this altar, but some marks suggest that there used to be a second one. Oh, really? Candlestick? Oh, wait. Oh, hey, buddy. Oh, young lady, how I missed you. I never thought I would see you again. I've got my eye on you. I'm always watching, even though hell does have plenty to keep me busy. The place is rife with scavengers. But let us forget about the riffraff. I'm finding your investigation positively thrilling diversion, and so I have decided to help you on your quest. I'm listening. Oh, did you notice that you are not alone here? The gap between worlds is surprisingly populated. A man used to live, if I may say so, in these ruins until recently. Might be able to answer some of your questions. Perhaps you should look for him. Thank you, I suppose, but I did have my suspicions, but there is more of Annie in you than you could possibly imagine. Good luck. I suppose that exasperated character could grow me. Perhaps. I'm gonna date a demon. Is there anything up here before we go hippity-toppity? But yeah, that kind of would imply that there's a, like one of those gaps between worlds. Yeah, the weird doors again. Notes may help me in my research. Oh, great. It's a long one. Step up. We decided to study Abraham's works and all of the books and manuscripts I have in Edwidge. It's a tedious and laborious task going through the research. It will take us weeks. Then we'll need to understand it, cross-reference the information we have to separate truth from fantasy. Still, this remains a fascinating quest, and we're determined to see it. No, I see the facing myself, and we're determined to see it through successfully. 6th day. We've gone farther than I thought. Working together gives us wings. There are writings and manuscripts all over my study, but we've found answers. I must draw the necessary words before we can summon them. 8th day, we attempted a few incantations in vain. Perhaps we mispronounced the text, or our mixtures are unstable. Perhaps I think we lack the resolution. 21st day. The weeks go by with no progress. We're overcome by weariness. Annie seems particularly affected. So this is Anton's journal. Got it. 32nd day. Progress at last. The incantations seem to vibrate. They seem to become heavier, more dense. That's about it for now, though. Still, I feel like we're close to getting answers. I'm sure of it. 41st day. Annie thought she could convince Malthus to help us, but she was rebuffed. I was not particularly surprised. 52nd day. A memorable day. Our experiment is starting to bear fruit. The ball jumped for a few seconds and became hot to the touch. It still hasn't cooled down. 53rd day. I've been looking at it for hours to take my eyes off of it. Unable to take my eyes off it. 32 hours later, the ball is still warm. Too early to celebrate our victory yet, but deep inside, I know we made it. What amazing progress. 61st day. After many unsuccessful attempts, we managed to communicate with him. He reacted to the words we used so often in our conversations. Promising him a walk in the woods always made him happy. Poor Duncan. I miss his pervasive presence, but it brings me peace to know that he is living an eternal dream. Success makes me euphoric. I hardly dare consider the consequences. So they were trying to get in touch with somebody. Belle, what's this engraving? Oh no. The year is 1850. Okay, so the year on it is 1854, but I'm not sure what's up with that nonsense. Okay. Every living here must be very devout or superstitious. Who's been using this damn mattress as a makeshift bed? I do like that those bump when you run into them. Little touches. Anything else we could check out up here? All gnarly trees going on. I'm gonna head into out back here. Hello, information. Mostly religious books. Some of them have annotations. Oh, those look like the Wheatley walls on the thing. Kinda. Okay, so we're gonna have to put those in order, clearly. Numerous notes. This can hardly be considered a language. It seems more like a form of heraldry. It uses a different set of rules and a separate print for each individual. There's no trace of what or who defined this matrix. In many cultures and mythological writings, discovering the full name of a person bestows incredible power. In a sense, the sigils seem to perfectly illustrate these beliefs, and also enable one to test them. Proving this theory would be fascinating. Sigils have been known for many generations. These, however, are not among the ones used to summon the 12 demons of the Goetia, although they are quite similar. I would venture that they are linked not to demons, but to rather human beings who lived on this earth. My obsession with this is such that I do not sleep much these days, as if I were on the verge of lifting a significant part of the veil on our consciousness. The history of these people might help me in my research. The registers stored in Coventry's cathedral will likely provide vital details on their respective lives. Read David Blackwood. Interesting. Recurrent shape letters. William James Keegan. We could get the name off the bell. My research going surprisingly well. One of the names linked to the sigil is Sir Henry David Blackwood. He was buried here in the estate. I thought that the family settled here during the 18th century, but this ancestor seems to prove that the Blackwood line was already here in 1515 or even earlier. Finding his tomb will be no mean feat, however, as his name seems to have been erased from the records, but it could be vital to my research. I've been wearing my eyes out on these sigils and their symbolism for weeks now. They're so deep in my mind that they bind me to my desk night and day. I almost feel I can draw them myself now that I know all their inherent rules. Truth be told, their syntax is quite simple. One just needs to draw them as coordinates. Each element corresponds to a radius of a circle. A line for each initial letter of the first name, another one for the initial letter of the name, another one for the sign of the zodiac. All this is not sufficient to define a being. What about homonyms? Logic dictates that Henry Anthony Garner and Harriet Alice Green should share the same sigil, but it's impossible. Looking on mass to the last stroke, and this makes me feverish. Yay. So we're gonna have to learn how to sigil. Good to have a handy hook. Hey! Go find something to hook. Has this been checked recently? Hodgkin. The Hodgkins are my family. Okay. Interesting. So we probably need one of the names from that to get to that. Anything else going on up here? Not really. Keep looking. Get a good feel for this area. Mostly new. Oh. Water from the lake has flooded the tower and the lower floors. Should I pretend to hold my breath? Go up at all? No. We can go in. Get wet. Oh, that looks like a name. Someone carved a symbol here. It must mean something. That's probably the order we need to put the book in. Right. sketch that out in case it didn't. See if it put it in my codex. No. Journal? William Whitegate. Okay. Alright, we'll do it. Oh, I just had a pen. I've been writing things all day. Where did you go? Here, we got a marker. That's fine. Alright, so... let's see... do it from the bottom. Bip, bip, bip. And then, like, question mark. Backwards hook thing. Angle jammer. Little munchkin. Hat. I'm going from bottom to top, in case you're wondering. Cross. And other angle jammer. Okay. Hopefully I didn't like write out an actual magical sigil and haunt my house or something. Oopsie. Going up. Going further up.